welcome to another episode of Dakota Boys Talk Movies. We're going to do one of our episodes where we do every once in a while where we literally do just talk about all kinds of movies. And so we're going to do that, talk about some movies coming up this year. There's a lot of things. Dakota, is this a year you're excited for? Are you just ecstatic for the year 2024 and all the movies coming? Is this your year?
Good Lord. No, this is not. This is not. You know, you had brought up how Godzilla -1 was your favorite movie of last year.
Yes.
And I was just racking my brain like, do I have a movie?
You know,
my favorite movie of
so my son and
2023?
My son and I were talking about this, and I said, I think Godzilla -1 was my favorite movie of 2023. And he goes, it's not mine. And I went, really? He goes, it's my number 2.
Oh.
And I go, well, what's your number 1? And he said, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, because he just loves those Spider-Verse movies, and he thought that was a brilliant thought. Which, I mean, it is. I mean, it's a good movie. I don't feel like it suffers too bad from I keep forgetting what you call it. Chapter 2-itis?
Chapter 2-itis.
Yeah. Where I do feel like, even though it's kind of got the cliffhanger ending, that you do get a nice movie there. But
well, overall, it's still a really good movie.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, I'm just gonna throw this out there. You were not a fan of the Boondocks, I'm guessing.
I kind of almost barely know what that is. It was like a Adult Swim show, right?
Yeah. I have been a fan of that show from day one.
Is it still going?
No.
Oh.
They were apparently bringing it back, which I was like, they're gonna bring what? You can't do Uncle Ruckus in today's world. What?
Was he super like politically incorrect or what?
He is what is commonly referred to as Uncle Tom.
Oh no.
Yes.
Okay. You can look that up if you want to. We're not going to worry about that here.
But I thought this was a nice touch when you, at the end of the movie, when you see the two Miles Morales. I noticed their hairstyles are basically Riley and Huey, which are the two little main kids from the show. And I'm like, they had to have known what they were doing. They had to have known what they were doing. Huey's kind of an activist. He's very knowledgeable, very intelligent. Riley, how can I put this? Riley belongs in the streets. His main goal in life is to become a rapper and die in a shootout, I think.
Well, I mean that's probably a lot of people's dreams, right?
I mean, if we were 1930s, that'd be a cool lifestyle to lead, I guess. But
Yeah.
But no, I just, yeah. The moment they were on screen facing each other, I'm like, that had to be an intentional choice on someone's part. Like, give him the Boondocks boys' haircuts.
Yes. But yeah. So I mean, there was that. Now, what's interesting about 2024 was that some of the movies that were going to be 2024 movies, they've actually made 2025 movies. Mission Impossible, what was originally going to be Dead Reckoning Part 2, which is now in untitled Part 8 of Mission Impossible, got pushed to 2025. There was the Batman Part 2, right? The Batman 2 got pushed to 2025. And Star Wars kind of kicks off again in 2025. And the MCU has no big movies this year. They've kind of decided to kind of take a break here and then kick off in 2025, with the exception of the one movie I'll bring up right now that's coming out this summer, Dakota, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yes.
This is the only... Is it MCU? It's kind of like MCU adjacent, is occasionally MCU depending on what hijinks he ends up getting into.
Well, here's how I know it's not going to be related to the MCU.
Or too much related.
They're going to be using some of the Fox X-Men, and I have a feeling that when we see the MCU's X-Men, half of them are going to be gay, or transgender, or something else.
Something else.
non-binary,
Yeah,
non-binary. Which isn't that odd? Because if you're non-binary, does that imply that you're still binary? Because there's non-binary.
Dakota, I don't even try to define what any of those terms mean.
Anyway, but yeah, there's going to be alphabet community representation, and they're probably
That was a sigh.
they're probably going to switch up the races of some of the characters, which, I'm one of those people who it's like that doesn't bother me, but it's just like it's can we just have like comic accurate people? That'd be nice.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Well, and sometimes I feel like they can get away with the look changes if at least in how that character acted was familiar, was accurate to that character. Because it's like sometimes they change everything, where it's like you might as well just call this person somebody totally different because they don't even act, they don't look like that person, they don't act like that person. Why are they that person? Except that it's an intellectual property that they're hoping will get you to come buy a ticket, I guess. I don't know. So as far as hype, how are you for, like, because I know you like both of the other Deadpools, right? You like them both, or I know you like the first one, right?
I'm just gonna come out and say this: I like them in spite of Ryan Reynolds.
In spite. How'd you feel about Free Guy?
Laughed at it. Had enjoyed some of the humor, but it's like at the end of the day, it's just. I think what it is, like a week later, I tried to rewatch it, and it's like, man, there's like no story here.
Yeah.
And Taika,
I did the same thing. I thought, I'm like, I'll just watch it again because I remember laughing. Didn't care. Didn't really care. Yeah, Taika's kind of annoying. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Are you excited about Hugh Jackman being back?
Oh, extremely.
Yeah. You're not one of those people that are like, he already had his send off. They need to leave him alone.
No, you know what they're going to do. It's not going to be that Wolverine. It's a variant. But
they'll have to reference that, right?
Yeah.
It would be really funny if they brought that Daphne Keane, that actress who played the little X-23 or whatever, just bring her into this.
Wouldn't she be like in her 20s now? Because that
close to, she's probably late high school for sure. Yeah.
Oh, it feels like
because she was in that Golden Compass show too, right?
Was she?
There was an HBO Max like Golden Compass show, or was it Golden Compass? I think it was something like that. And she was like the lead in that. Yeah, let's move on. Let's see. Back to WB. We've been talking about WB a lot lately. Furiosa, a Mad Max saga.
Yes. Not a fan of that title, but I have been waiting for this forever.
And you're okay with the casting change of Charlize Theron being out?
Well, I mean, as much as I like Charlize Theron, I don't think she could pass for like a younger woman.
Yeah, because this is supposed to be quite a bit of years before.
Yeah. What I find hilarious about this is some of the comments Chris Hemsworth has made have been, when talking about working with George Miller, have been directed at Taika Waititi, because he's like,
it does seem that way.
It's like, oh, he's not one of those. He's crazy. No, he's very focused. He's very driven. I like working with a director like this.
Yeah,
and it's like, gee, I wonder if he's throwing shade at someone.
Yeah, because Hemsworth is in this, right?
Yeah. Which, man.
Is he going to be kind of our I'm Mad Max but not Mad Max replacement, do you think? Or is he going to be just totally crazy, another just crazy apocalyptic person?
Oh, no. I think he'll probably be the closest thing to Mad Max as we're going to be getting, which is unfortunate. I think there might be some tensions between Tom Hardy and George Miller. I think that's why we're not getting a straight up sequel to Mad Max.
Like they had trouble getting along?
Yeah. Tom Hardy, very, very passionate man. I don't think he probably takes direction as well as he should. Which and how in your face?
And yet we got a third Venom coming out this year.
How in your face though do you want to be with Tom Hardy? The dude is an MMA fighter.
That's true. He actually fought for real, not just in movies, but for real. He's kind of crazy. Him and Mickey Rourke, man, they're just kind of nuts like that. Another one happening this year. I'm curious if you're excited for it. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It's a sequel, not sequel. It's a reboot, not reboot. Continuing the Ape saga, but generations later from the trilogy we just had. How you feeling about this one? Director is the director of the Maze Runner movies.
You know, I think this is probably one of those ones I really haven't heard too much about. I know I saw a part of a trailer.
Yeah.
But this has probably the most Planet of the Apes vibe to all these prequels of the Planet of the Apes.
Right. Yeah, the apes are now talking. You're seeing them net humans, chasing them on horses. It does have that. It does seem like just by the vague trailer we got after the Super Bowl was that there seems to be this one female human that they realize is thinking and talking still, even though none of the other ones are. So it seems like they're going to do something in that realm. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm curious where they're going. I have hopes, but I'm trying to keep them measured, knowing that this could go. It's just one of those series that could, like, can we keep? I think they could keep it going. I think there's enough there, but is it gonna work? Is it gonna be like the Alien or Predator franchise and just kind of, it's hard to know. Because I mean, honestly, I liked the Maze Runner movies. I thought the first one was great. I thought the second one was pretty good, and I thought the third one was okay. And I thought. And it had the same director as these. He did all those, and I thought he did a fine job with those. So I'm kind of curious what he can bring to this and how he'll handle this franchise. All right, Dakota, Joker, Folie à Deux. I don't know. I don't know French. The sequel to Joker with Joaquin Phoenix back and Lady Gaga joining, as we think, or are we pretty sure now that she's Harleen Quinn? Zell.
Yeah, I think
it seems like they've pretty much nailed down that she is. And it's a musical? Question mark? Kind of a musical, it sounds like.
Yeah. Oh boy, I am so not excited for this movie at all.
At all. Okay. Now, we reviewed the Joker. Joker. And I think we were both like mostly for what it was. We knew it was depressing. We understand it was dour, but we were mostly like, but it was still good for what it was, if I remember right. Isn't that kind of where you were with it too? I don't know about this though.
And here was my whole qualms. If you're dipping your toes into this universe, it's like, where's it all going to lead? I don't see this Joker taking on Batman.
Sure.
Even if it's Michael Keaton, sorry. Even if it's the Batman from the old TV show, I can't see
Adam
him.
West.
I can't see him like take, because it's too real and it's depressing, and I know that's kind of, Gotham is supposed to be a really terrible place to live.
Yeah, it almost is. You're right, because it's almost like this is Joker if he was in a world where there wasn't Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it does feel like, how would that still play out? How would it still affect the world? How would he still turn out, even though he wasn't becoming the quintessential protagonist to Batman in that way? And so, or antagonist, I think is it protagonist, but and so
there's a really old joke of, I don't know how people can root for Batman because he's this billionaire playboy with issues, running around beating up the mentally unwell. And it's like, well, in this universe, that's what he'd be doing, because I don't see this Joker poisoning the reservoir.
Yeah. Well, and you say that, or people say that, but he does try to put them in a place to get help.
Yeah.
He attempts to get them help, what'll be interesting about this movie is that it seems like they're following this Harley Quinn way, where it's like she's famously one of the doctors that works with him, but then he ends up changing and affecting her. So it'll be interesting to see how music enters that. I mean, obviously Lady Gaga, I'm sure, was picked because of her singing chops, and that at least she's within the age bracket closer to Joaquin Phoenix than if you picked someone too young, too. Because that'd be awkward, because Joaquin has to be, I don't know, upper 40s at this point.
I think
So-
he's over 50.
Yeah,
or at
so-
least getting close.
Sure. So it'd be awkward if you picked, someone too young like a Sydney Sweeney or something like that, where it's like, well, who's a young blonde now? And it would just almost be awkward, like he's seducing a high schooler or something.
Hey, Nicole Kidman could.
Well, she might be too old though. That's going the other way. She's now playing Aquaman's mom. So
But I was gonna say she's closer in age to Joaquin
well,
Phoenix.
that's true. Yeah.
Which, hey, I'm just gonna. I know another tangent here, but did you ever see The Northman?
No, I know what you're talking about though. That was that Viking movie with the Sarsgaard guy.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, but Kidman was in that, right? Is
Yeah,
that why you-
and she played his mom. There was something where they were like a married couple. And I'm just like,
a different movie where they were a married couple.
I think it was something on HBO,
Yeah.
but it was
nothing will ever be as weird as Angelina Jolie playing Colin Farrell's mom in Alexander, where they got to be 3 years apart. So I mean, that's
should have been Helen Mirren.
I
but-
mean, they're probably closer in age than Sean Connery and Harrison Ford were when they were playing father and son. But okay, here we go. We'll stay in this. We'll stay in this comic book lane here for another second here, because I'm guessing you're not have much to say about this. Craven the Hunter.
oh man,
This is part of. I don't even know what they're calling it. The Sony Pictures universe of Marvel movies.
you know, it doesn't matter because it's the Morbin verse. Okay,
the Morbin. It's Morbin time. What is this, Dakota? What is this? What is this? This we're gonna continue to make Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man. Why do they keep doing it? Why does it keep happening? Why in 2024 is it happening twice?
and here's the thing that's really terrible. Some of these characters have really good backstories,
Right.
Like, but a Venom movie without Spider-Man in it,
Those are the ones that barely work, and only because Tom Hardy's so stinking charismatic.
yeah. But no, it's just like that doesn't make any sense because Venom's whole thing is that
Yeah.
he basically just lives to go after Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be like making a Sabretooth movie and not having any reference to Wolverine in it. It's like,
Sure.
what? Come on, man. What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
There was no
Or a Joker movie with no Batman. Oh wait, that's happening too this year.
Hey, Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne was in the first one.
Yeah, that's true. Kind of. Thomas Wayne was in it for sure.
But we even got an Alfred. Oh, I forgot about that. That kind of
Yeah.
giant a-hole of an Alfred.
He kind of was, wasn't he?
Oh, Lord.
But yeah, so anyway, this is happening. It's got Aaron Taylor Johnson, who's been a terrible superhero a few times before.
Those were intentional?
That's true. Quicksilver was intentional.
Oh, I keep forgetting about that.
Exactly. Okay, moving.
I think the fact I forget about him being Quicksilver because at the time there was a better Quicksilver out there.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like
I would say still is the better Quicksilver. A Quiet Place Day One.
this I am cautiously optimistic about.
I'm excited that Jimon Hansu's back, getting maybe a bigger role, but then he still isn't the star of this movie. I believe the star is. Am I right that it's Lupita Nyong'o is more the star of this? The woman from. She's in Black Panther. She was in Us, one of those Jordan Peele movies.
Yeah. I always remember her from 12 Years a Slave, which is
Oh sure.
terrible because her character did not do well in that movie.
Sure. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. This could be good. This could be bad. I'm guessing what we're going to see in this movie is you're going to see Quiet Place stuff, but with more people around. And so we'll see if that's a good idea or a bad idea. I feel like what made the first one especially work and what made the second one still mostly work was that it wasn't worried about spectacle as much as character.
Yeah.
And so hopefully they can still kind of hang on to that. I think that's what Quiet Place has going for it, that it isn't like Paranormal Activity where it's so much about like the trying to see how clever you can be with found footage or trying to see how clever you can be with where the creature shows up. The thing that's always made these movies do well, I think, is the characters, the story of the characters and things like that. So we'll see. Gladiator 2. Ridley Scott is back doing it.
You're joking.
No, No, you did you not know about this?
I heard recently Russell Crowe had like a meltdown when someone asked him about it.
Well, he's not in it. So Ridley Scott, it's done. They're done.
What?
They're done making it. It's coming out this year.
Okay.
And Paul Mescal is the lead in it, and Denzel Washington is in it.
what?
Yeah, you didn't hear about this? Oh, this is fun. I'm glad I caught you here. So Paul Mescal's the lead in it, and he's playing Lucius, the boy from the first movie.
Is this a joke? Like,
This is not a joke.
Did you just like pull up some kid's name? Or?
No, Lucius, the boy from the first
Yeah,
movie.
I remember Lucius.
He's in it, and he's playing Lucius, and it's going to be continuing that story. So I think Connie Nielsen is in it, playing his mom again, Lucilla, and Denzel Washington is in it. Pedro Pascal is in it.
What?
Joseph Quinn, famously from Stranger Things, is in it. Derek Jacobi is back in it. He played a senator in the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Ridley Scott's directing it. It's done. It's coming out this year, I believe I want to say November. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if anybody knows who Pedro and Denzel are playing, but they're in it. So me telling you all this, you hearing this for the first time, where you at? This is fun. This is fun to get to see Dakota's face. I figured you knew about this.
No. It's been a joke for so long.
Well,
like,
for a while it was. There was going to be a Jimon Hansu Gladiator movie.
yeah,
And then there was going to be Maximus in the Afterlife movie,
Yeah.
which
that sounds so insane. I was actually hoping that was true for a while.
that would have been insane. And then now it's turned into this where it's like we're going to continue kind of in that world, but with Lucius.
You know what, man? I feel like this is going to be the example of you should just leave well enough alone.
I think so too. I think so too. I don't know if Ridley Scott is his. It feels like in his advanced age, it's just been him trying to recapture his things that have been lightning in a bottle. It's like James Cameron got lucky with how he was able to kind of move on Alien and make it work, but it was just Ridley Scott had trouble kind of bringing that back 2 different times. He struggled with what was the other franchise he tried to he dipped back into. Well, I guess he didn't do Blade Runner. He kind of backed out from that, and Denis Villeneuve took over that. But I don't know. I don't. And then he had this Napoleon movie came out that people are like, I don't know what that was.
Has he just not stopped working?
And then he did that Moses movie. No, he just keeps doing movies. And
what was it? The Last Duel and
The Last Duel. He did that.
What was it? House of Gucci?
Yes. House of Gucci. That was
came
him
out
too.
in the same year, and it's like,
Yeah.
what?
I
Like,
don't know.
is this-
I feel like him and Scorsese. Like Scorsese, I feel like is making more movies now than he did practically in the whole first 30 years of his career. And it's like they're trying to get all these things out before they die, is what it feels like, because they're both like in their 80s. And it's like, I don't know, guys. Maybe, like you said, with a few of these things. I mean, I'm telling you right now, I would not be shocked if tomorrow news broke that Ridley Scott was making a second Robin Hood movie. Because it just feels like he's just will do anything and everything of anything. I don't know. Or like another Moses movie. I mean, I don't know. But Sidney Lumet, I mean, he worked till he was practically a century old. And I don't know if that's what these guys are doing. They're just like, they just want to. But
I mean, I did like The Last Duel, but I heard nothing.
What was the last Ridley Scott movie you feel like you actually really liked?
Oh, that was The Martian?
Yeah, same. That was the last one, and that was about 10 years ago now.
What?
Yeah, that was 2015.
Oh my gosh, time is going by way too quick.
Yeah, and that was the thing is like, and so I don't know. So there you could be like, okay, well he still got it, but in the past decade, I don't know. It's been a lot of miss. There, but yeah, Gladiator 2, Dakota, it's happening.
Oh my gosh.
All right, let's see here.
I feel like everything he did in Gladiator 1, which it feels weird I'm finally saying this, but I feel like Yeah, you should have just left well enough alone, man. You obviously didn't learn with the Alien prequels, and from what it sounded like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, so Inside Out 2. We'll dip into a little bit of just family fare. So this one, I don't know if you saw the preview, Dakota. Did you?
No.
They're adding a new emotion, anxiety. So it's just this crazy creature that's anxiety that gets added to the mix because now Riley's in her teenage years.
Is it? Oh, never mind.
Were you going to say, is it Aquafina? It's always Aquafina these days.
Oh, man.
I don't remember who the voice of. Let me see if I can find it here quick. Because all the voices are back, except that I saw Tony Hale's doing Fear now, that was Bill Hader in the first movie. Maya Hawke is going to be anxiety, which for those of you who don't know who that is, you probably, if you are a Stranger Things fan, you'll know her as Robin in Stranger Things. She's the one who buddies up with Steve when they're working at Scoops Ahoy. For those of you who keep up with Stranger Things. But yeah, so, and obviously her parents are Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman, but
yeah.
Nepo baby. But yeah, so I don't know. I was a little nervous with hearing that they're going to make an Inside Out 2, where this could go. I'm still nervous because I think Disney is a dumpster fire right now. And I think they're just cranking out anything that they hope will bring back, just conjure back people's like, Inside Out was a good movie, so this one will be good too. But I think they're starting to lose that trust with people too. You know, where you don't trust Disney anymore by going, I like the first one, so the second one will probably be good too.
You know,
that doesn't happen much anymore with them.
You know, not too long ago I told you how Exorcist Believer was like one of the worst movies ever.
Okay, yeah.
And I feel like this is rare, but I have so many. This is the worst movie ever. Like, it comes up frequently now. Like, I say it about a movie quite regularly. And Lightyear was one of those movies. So I don't have any faith in them to do
well. And oh my gosh,
because I mean,
Lightyear.
we're practically the same age. So when Toy Story came out, it was kind of a big deal.
Yeah, we were right in the general age group for who's gonna love that movie the best. Yeah,
and you look like, okay, so this kid saw this Lightyear movie.
That was where they screwed up
and got super excited for like just to buy the merch.
Yeah, that was where they just totally screwed up. Was by trying to act like Lightyear was the movie that Andy watched. And that's why he wanted a Buzz Lightyear toy. That was a horrible mistake for a horrible movie.
And I was like, okay, I know I'm not the target audience for Lightyear, but I was like, I was around when the first Toy Story came out. I was a kid.
And like everybody says, if you would have saw that movie as a 10-year-old, what was the toy from that movie you would have wanted? The cat, not Lightyear. Because they made him, it was just so dour. It was like they were trying to make Interstellar for kids, is what Lightyear was pretty much.
See, Dakota from that time period would have been like, this is a really boring movie.
Yeah.
And been like, man, what happened? We were in the heyday of Disney then.
Right.
So it would have just been like, what is this garbage?
Yeah, because even the bad movies at that point would have been zanier than that. Like The Big Green, like that soccer movie, things like that.
The sequels to Aladdin.
Yeah, like Aladdin sequels. They would have been a lot more entertaining than Lightyear to us as kids. Okay, well, let's get out of that. Venom 3? I don't remember if it has another subtitle to it or if it's still just Venom 3.
I
think it might just still be Venom 3. This one is supposed to come out this year still. They're claiming it's coming out November 8th, but that puts it really close to Kraven. So I almost wonder if this is actually going to actually release then.
Well, I haven't seen a trailer for it. No one's talked about what the story is supposed to be like.
No, it's still kind of all mucho hush-hush, as George W. Bush would say. But that's a really Dakota, trying to keep it relevant with the times by doing W. Bush references. It does make me think, though, with Kraven not coming out till November, us not hearing anything about Venom 3, that this is actually probably going to be a 2025 movie.
Who directed this one? Was it going to be...
I don't think it's Circus again.
Oh. I feel kind of bad. I remember liking the second...
Kelly Marcel. It's and it was written by Tom Hardy. and Kelly Marcel. Who's Kelly Marcel? Some lady. She wrote. Oh, she wrote Let There Be Carnage.
Oh,
She wrote the last one, and she wrote the other Venoms. She wrote Venom and Venom Let There Be Carnage. She also
Oh,
wrote
okay.
Cruella,
wait, which are you talking about?
the Emma Stone Cruella.
Oof.
She wrote Saving Mr. Banks, that Walt Disney Mary Poppins the movie where Tom Hanks plays Walt Disney,
Oh.
and he's trying to get the rights to Mary Poppins. So I don't know. She's here. She's a writer. She's done things.
Well, I mean, she's.
I think we all. Here's what Venom is. Venom is Tom Hardy in these particular movies. It all just comes down to how. And if Tom Hardy wrote it, it makes me think he's in. So this could actually be something. We'll see. Dakota, here's one I'm interested in with you too. Beetlejuice.
Oh God.
How you feeling about Beetlejuice?
You know,
Which this is the official title. Is his name twice. It was Beetlejuice 2. Now they've retitled it Beetlejuice.
yeah, I heard.
And let's see who they add to this movie. Jenna Ortega, right? She's
Yeah.
kind of the new face.
And
in it.
because I forget who's supposed to be playing her. Because every time he dates somebody, he puts them in his movies. Was referring to Tim Burton. I forget who.
Monica Bellucci.
Yeah, the current flame is in this one.
Beetlejuice's wife is Monica Bellucci. Is that who Tim Burton's dating now?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes.
How did he get Monica Bellucci?
Are you kidding me? Do you remember who he was with in the 90s? Who he threw in like all his movies?
No.
Oh, I can't I can remember her.
Well, I mean, he was with Helena Bonham Carter for a long time.
I can remember her face. She was like she was a model that kind of resembled Elvira a lot, I felt.
Oh, funny. I mean, Monica Bellucci is. I mean, he's not like Leonardo DiCaprio. She's not young anymore or whatever, but she's still like probably a knockout, I would guess. And he's kind of a weird dude. Anyway,
I've always found his personality to be just very dry.
who's that?
Tim Burton, like
Oh.
hearing him explain stuff, it's just like, let's turn the sound all the way down. But
So, what is your relationship with Beetlejuice?
Love the movie.
Are you two dating?
love the movie, love it.
You do?
as a kid.
Sure.
It was right on up there with Little Shop of Horrors for me. I feel like they waited too long to do a sequel. I don't know if Michael Keaton was
You're just sighing.
like, I don't know if Michael Keaton's like really ready to do this. I mean, he's done some good roles. I really liked him in The Flash, but it's just like, why did they wait so long to do this?
I don't know, because it's been talked about for 20 years.
He very famously, Tim Burton very famously wrote a sequel or had a sequel idea that was so bad. They were like, no, we're just gonna table this whole thing.
Wow. So this is kind of like he had to reinvent it, huh?
Yeah, and all the cards on the table. I can't remember the last time he even did anything I liked. So
Were you a fan of? I know there was that one kind of in the midst of his like Dark Shadows and Peculiar Children movies, Big Eyes, about the artist. Did you like that one?
Heard a lot of good things about it. Never saw it.
Otherwise, yeah, he's been like Alice in Wonderland, Peculiar Children, Dark Shadows.
That Alice in Wonderland was just
Yeah,
pukey CGI. I was
that's what's sad about Tim Burton is I feel like you go back to like Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which is a great movie still. You go back to Batman. You go back to some of his 90s stuff like Edward Scissorhands. He was doing so much practical stuff. He's like a stop motion kind of guy. And then now it just feels like in the 2000s, kind of after his Planet of the Apes movie he just kind of went all in on CGI.
and as the years go by, I start to hate his Charlie and the Chocolate Factory a little more.
Well, even though they supposedly train those squirrels, it still looks really CGI strange.
It's just bad. It's all you think of the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and you're like everything in that's just pure gold.
Sure.
Pure gold. The humor is on point. It's whimsical. It's
Gene Wilder. I mean, it's Gene Wilder at his best, you know.
Yeah. Just is it because of the boat scene? Did that scar you as a child?
No, I thought that scene was crazy cool when I was a kid, but I was kind of a messed up kid.
Oh, you were fine.
There was something. I believe this is the next movie from. That one director you kind of like, Robert Eggers. He's got a Nosferatu movie coming out. Did you know about this?
Yeah, we talked about this.
Oh, did we? It's supposed to come out. This is what kills me. Is it supposed to come out on Christmas Day?
Are you serious?
Is that not the most Robert Eggers move ever? To be like, I'm going to make Nosferatu and it's going to come out on Christmas.
Oh, man.
He's such a weirdo. But yeah, I know. In fact, in a previous episode, you talked about you like. Did you like? No, it was what we were talking about now. We were talking Nicole Kidman. When did she come up?
The Northman?
Yeah, you're talking about The Northman.
Yeah.
He did that movie, right?
Yeah, he did that one.
Do you like most of his movies, like The Vivitch and
The
Lighthouse?
The Witch is
It's Vivitch. It's two V's.
Oh, you're funny. You're funny, Steven. But didn't really care for The Lighthouse, although I thought Willem Dafoe did a great job in it. Just kind of a weird story. Really weird story. So I couldn't get into that one, but love The Witch. Thought The Northman was perfect.
What else did he do? Because he did. Is that it? Is that all he's done? It feels like another.
I think he had something before The Witch, or
okay. But yeah, I don't know. So are you? How are you feeling about him taking on this Nosferatu?
You know, I just feel like it's been done. It's been done kind of to death. Nosferatu was basically just someone's riff on the Dracula story in the first place.
Well, yeah, it was someone just trying not to get out of copyright.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think this is a wait and see. I'm sure it'll be...
Bill Skarsgård's playing Count Orlok, so that'll be interesting.
You know, I'm sure it'll be incredibly well-made film, but whether or not it'll be entertaining is a whole other...
Yeah, what's weird is Willem Dafoe's in it. Which he was in a movie where he played. He was in a movie where they were making the movie Nosferatu. Is that right?
Yeah.
But he was actually a like in the story, he was actually a vampire or something.
Yes.
And so yeah, he should just had him be Count Orlov. Too old, I guess. Yeah, and so I don't know. You know, Dakota, there's some interest. This is it. Here's the movies we have to look forward to this year. I don't know. You know, another one that's coming out this year is. This is really a fascinating one too. Is that there's a Lord of the Rings movie coming out this year, an animated one.
Oh yeah,
The War of Rohirrim. I don't know how to feel about this. Is it anime? Is that right?
It's animated.
Sure, yeah, but for some reason I thought it was anime, but that might be just because the director's Japanese, and that's why I thought that. No, it's saying it's Japanese anime. And I know that Miranda Otto is back as Aowen. I don't know if any of the other cast is back. She's kind of the main one that has come up as being back. Brian Cox is a voice in it.
Yeah, I think he's playing the voice of Helm Hammerhand, I believe.
Yeah, he's Hammerhand. This could be something. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if that ends up being something. I mean, anything can be anything. Yeah, I don't know. Is there how are you with anime?
Oh, I don't know.
Is there some like you can say like, yep, I like that one?
I really liked One Piece.
One Piece,
Cowboy Bebop. And there was another one where it was like two. I don't know if they were samurai or ninjas. They were basically just walking around Japan with this lady, and they were always getting into trouble. I can't remember the name of it. But, yeah, I mean, I feel like most anime is a little too, I don't know. I could never get into it despite a lot of my friends being huge fans of it.
Yeah, I would say, like, I know I'm pretty minimal just because it's hard for me to get into it. It's just like, I think a lot of it's creative, and I think a lot of it has interesting visuals, but it's just like it's hard for me to just stay engaged with it.
You know what I've noticed a lot about anime?
What's that?
There's a lot of a lot of Christian iconography sprinkled throughout anime. You ever notice that?
Sure. I mean, well, because a lot of their stories end up even leaning into kind of that messianic type thing too.
Yeah. But I just always felt that was odd. Japan, not a nation of Christian people.
Well,
but
in one sense, though, like you know, you watch the movie Silence, or even the new miniseries that's out now, Shogun, and you know, it's talking about how there was a real Catholic influence in Japan, to where there was different ways that people were embracing that, where there were some that kind of lean more into Catholicism, and there were some that kind of blended the Japanese culture with their Catholicism. And so I don't know. I think there is a Christian influence in Japan that probably does go back to those original kind of Portuguese Catholics and Jesuits that kind of came. But so maybe that's why. Here's some other interesting ones, Dakota. Twisters. Twisters.
Yeah.
You know, the It Boy right now is in this, Glenn Powell. Who was in Top Gun Maverick, and then a rom-com that came out this Christmas that was like the biggest rom-com in a while, I guess. Anyone But You or something like that. This is a weird time for a sequel. Well, they keep going. It's not a sequel, but the iconography, the font, I mean, everything's the same, Dakota, in how they're putting it, where it's like, yeah, this is the sequel. I mean, whether you want to say it is or not, I don't know what that's going to be. That could be a nothing movie.
Who was asking for a sequel to Twister? I know at the time it was a big thing. But.
Right. And I think, honestly, even if you thought you wanted this, the minute Bill Paxton died, I mean, I feel like he was, in a weird way, even though he's not the greatest actor in the world, he kind of carried that first movie a little bit, where it's like it could have been nothing, and it kind of worked because of him, and Carrie Elwes just chewing up the scenery as like a weird bad guy meteorologist. But Dakota, here's another one I'm curious about with you. Borderlands. What's your history with that game?
I own,
and this is directed by Eli Roth, I think, too, which is
what?
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, Eli Roth. I think I got that right. I better check. Yeah, Eli Roth. He wrote it too.
Oh, good Lord. This could be a very uneven movie. I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, it could even be more uneven because I don't know if Eli Roth is capable of making a movie not R. And I'm pretty sure they're trying to keep this one PG-13.
You know, I'm going to come out and say it. Just get it out there. This had some really heavy Guardians of the Galaxy vibes.
The trailer looked so Guardians. It was crazy. It's like Guardians is over, so they're like, we're going to fill that space.
Yeah. The whole time, and just I know the humor, the game has like its own kind of type of humor, and I don't know if they're going to go in on it, because I think that's a big appeal of the games. And just the cast for this seems weird. Just
yes.
Incredibly weird, like the most random people. Yeah, just I wasn't even aware this was getting made until I saw the trailer for it. And
I mean, it was one of those things where like I knew that eventually there was talk of they wanted to make it a movie, but I didn't know it was like, oh, here it is, you know. This is the last one I want to bring up, Dakota, and I saved this for last because you have it's always fun to just kind of throw these kind of movies at you, because you had a very famous rant in a previous episode of our show that it's probably one of the funniest rants ever, because I'm pretty sure you ranted for 30 minutes on the movie, and that movie was Into the Woods that you just ranted.
Oh, good Lord.
And this year, Wicked comes out. It's Wicked Part 1. They actually have had the audacity to not only just they're going all in, Dakota, that this is going to do so well that there's going to be a second one.
You know, didn't they learn the lesson with Cats? A lot of these stage productions don't really transition well to
But at the same
screen.
time, didn't Les Miserables do really well? Even though Russell Crowe's singing was kind of janky.
You mean terrible?
I mean, well, depends on who you are, I guess, how you want to. But, you know, I mean, sometimes they make money. Like, how did West Side Story do? That's more recent. That Spielberg
I have
one.
no idea.
You know, do you know much about Wicked?
I read the book,
Really?
which
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
I'm assuming the stage production has very little to do with it because our local theater here in Aberdeen used to actually play some of the songs from the soundtrack,
Okay.
and so I've heard a couple of the songs, but yeah. Oh lordy, I have absolutely no desire to see this movie. I'm just throwing that out there.
Does it help if I tell you that Ariana Grande is playing Glinda?
Oh God.
Does it help if I tell you that the director directed G.I. Joe Retaliation? Or Step Up to the Streets? Or Now You See Me Too? Does any of that help you?
You know, I saw G.I. Joe Retaliation, and that's the only one I've seen out of that list. It was kind of a blah movie, which sucks because I grew up playing with the G.I. Joes. And
Oh, here's a musical that recently was in theaters that he directed, In the Heights. It was a Lin-Manuel Miranda. It was supposed to be kind of loosely based on him growing up in Washington Heights in New York. I think that one did kind of go over well, which is probably why he got this job to do Wicked.
oh man,
So yeah, I don't know. Wizard of Oz, that movie barely works. Honestly, it probably shouldn't have worked, but it just kind of does. And every time they've tried to do something with it, Return to Oz, that 80s creepy fest.
that movie was straight nightmare fuel. Thank you.
Jeez, look up, just Google an image of that and you won't sleep for a week.
Oh.
Then there was Oz the Great and Powerful that Sam Raimi did with James Franco. That was just like, what's going on? I just don't know. I know this is different because it's like based on a stage musical and it's got this music that, but I'm sitting here thinking like, a lot of times when these musicals come to theaters, I at least am familiar with a song from it. I don't know if I know any of the Wicked songs. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. I'm not like a theater kid, but it's just kind of funny how it's like, I don't have any reference point for this. I saw the trailer and I'm like,
Oh God, there's a trailer.
yeah, I think it was a Super Bowl. I think they released one at the Super Bowl.
Oh Lord.
And I'm just like, I don't know. And first, the other thing too that kills me is Ariana Grande. Is she even 5 foot tall? It just feels funny to have her be Glinda. I feel like Ariana Grande is more maybe the size to play like Tinkerbell or something. But yeah, I don't know. So you're not going to see that one, Dakota? We're not going to review that one? Are you worried because it's part one and that means if we review it, we'll probably have to come back into part two?
Oh no, I'm not going to see this. Yeah, I'm
just full stop. Just nothing else.
I'm pretty sure. I am mostly sure that the stage play took very little from the book and kind of just kept the name of it. I feel like that's the case for some reason.
Well, I mean, that happens some. I mean, even Hamilton. I mean, they put the book the musical was based on that book, but it's like he kind of just took the broad strokes and threw it into his Hamilton musical. So that is kind of the way that goes a little bit. There was the one that was big. They didn't really turn that into a movie. They just filmed the stage, though, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, I shouldn't be surprised that this movie's coming out because, and this would have been when we were in college. Supposedly, someone was trying to get it off the ground. Like, I think, if I remember correctly, they were trying to have it be like a mini series or something.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, And it was a big deal at the time. Like everyone was like, "Oh, Wicked is so awesome!" And I read the book, and that was a slog.
I suppose this would be a Warner Brothers movie.
They do seem to do a lot of musicals.
Well, and the reason I say that is because I think they're the ones who own Wizard of Oz. But I guess that doesn't always mean anything because I don't know, anybody can kind of own different things. I can't find it. Universal. So this is a Comcast movie. This will be a Peacock exclusive, Dakota. But yeah.
Yeah, probably 2 weeks after it comes out and bombs.
Well, we'll see. You never know. Again, I mean, Greatest Showman weirdly did well in theaters.
That was a very well-made movie, Steven.
But what I mean is, like, that wasn't even based off anything anybody really knew. It just kind of happened. So who knows? Anything can be anything. But, well, I think that's long enough. We're curious. What movies are you excited? Is there some you're excited for this year that are maybe we didn't talk about because they're a little more under the radar? Maybe they're a streaming exclusive. There's ones like that of course are always happening too, where there's streaming services putting out movies, hoping that you'll keep your subscription or subscribe to them because of that. And so there's always those two. What are you excited for? Is there anything you're excited for? We love to hear, and where you can do that is we always put up our episodes on Facebook, so you can leave comments on there. You can leave it if you're listening to this on YouTube. We can put it on there. Anything like that. We hope you are in those places. You're checking us out, doing that. We love that. But yeah, thanks for listening to this episode where we just kind of ranted about movies for about an hour. It's not very long for us, actually. But thanks for listening to this one. This is Steven.
This is Dakota.
See you later.